to this happy place, welcome.
Hey guys, it's Tim, and welcome to another episode of the Dreaming of Disney podcast, episode 90.
Woo.
That's 10 away from 100, if you're keeping track. I'm with my beautiful wife, Adrienne.
Hello. If you didn't know how to count, it's 10 away from 100. Very nice.
We are...
That's pretty crazy, actually.
I know.
Yeah.
I can't believe that we've been doing this almost 100 times.
Yeah.
Our friends at the Dreaming of Disney... No, that's us.
That's us. We are our friends.
We are our friends. Disney World is awesome. Just had 200 episodes.
That's crazy too, because I remember. Well,
That's 110 more than
they're
we've
much
done.
more consistent than us. But I remember when they had their 100th episode and they did a live.
Oh, okay.
And I remember I was watching it with the boys.
Yeah.
They had a lot more,
They have
followers
a
than
lot
us,
more
even at that
listeners and
point.
followers. Yeah.
Because if we did a live, no one would be.
No one shows up. See, other podcasts that are having milestones, Johnny J with the DMSW podcast is coming up on his 100th.
Yeah, he'll probably beat it because I think we started a few weeks before him, but we've missed more.
We've missed more.
Know?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're
getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Let's keep the consistency train going.
You know what's insane? Sorry,
What?
you just said Johnny, so it made me think about things that it has almost been in a few weeks, a year since Splash Mountain's last day.
Yeah,
and that
crazy.
we went there with podcast mics for magic. Like that's insane.
Speaking of Splash Mountain, now Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Oh, I miss it so much.
So today is Sunday, May 12th.
Yep.
Disney accidentally
Yeah, right.
leaked the opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure for Disney World,
Right.
June 28th.
Like a month and a half. Month and a half.
Yeah. That post was quickly deleted. And now they said, tune into American Idol tonight for a special announcement about the ride. So it's already aired on the East Coast. So I haven't looked. I haven't been on social media at all. The reason why we haven't been on social media that much is because we just got back.
Oh.
We've been driving for hours.
I'm looking.
You're looking.
Yeah. Drop on in. This was, when was this? 3 hours ago.
Yep.
6:28. Yep.
6/28, June 28th, the opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure in Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom. Still haven't heard about Disneyland, so we'll see.
Sorry, now I'm reading comments. I'm curious to see what it's like that day. Is it going to be because the closure was such a big day.
Oh, for sure.
I wonder if the first day of the new ride will be the thing, be busy, or if people will just be like,
just another day.
Just another day. I don't know. We'll see. In the
But anyways,
summertime.
we just got back hot off the heels of another Disneyland trip. We literally got back today,
A couple hours ago.
And we felt the need to record tonight because
Just to get all the feels out. I wanted this to be a raw, real episode of what it's like when things don't go the way you'd like them to.
you mentioned a great title for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to call this episode?
They can't all be winners.
No, they can't.
No. I mean, when you go as much as we do, we're ridiculous. They're not all going to be great. It does. I mean, we've had trips like this before, and it does make me like, this is such a privileged problem, right? Like, come on. It was ridiculous. And really, it has nothing to do with Disneyland.
It can be any type of trip, really.
Well, yes, but I mean, why our trip wasn't great. It has nothing to do with anything that happened at Disneyland, or caused by Disney. But whenever we've had trips like this, I'm always like, I mean, it makes me grateful that we have the opportunity to go so much. And it just makes me like, oh man, if you've like saved up for years and like, you're finally ready to take your kids and you take them for like the first time. And it's something like similar, like when we went to Disney World the first time, and Magic Kingdom was like not a good day. Epcot was not a good day. It stinks.
I think this trip was one of our worst.
No.
Nowhere near as bad.
Okay, maybe one of, but
our Disney World trips nowhere near as bad as this weekend.
Do you remember Magic Kingdom Day?
I mean,
I hadn't slept in like 2 days.
Yeah.
I had gotten a few hours of sleep over 2 days. One of our children was a complete monster.
Yeah.
Most of the day. Like it was a bad day.
I guess so.
It was a bad day.
Yeah.
But anyways, a little backstory here leading up to this.
Well, I want to say why we're sharing this.
Oh, why
because,
are we sharing this?
Because when you go on social media is a highlight.
Highlight reel.
It's a highlight reel of people's lives. So only showing the best.
For the most
part. So when you go and you look at these Disney influencers, posting their trips to Disney, with all the food, the rides, the fun, the merch, it all looks really fun. Like, oh, that's great. And then for a family to go and they say, we had a horrible time.
Yeah.
I'm never going back again. Just like you said,
yeah,
they're not all going to be winners.
Well, and that's what I mean, where it's like, I feel so bad because because we're able to go more. It's like, we know like, okay, this was a bad trip for whatever reasons. The next trip's going to be better, most likely. Like it's up and down. But if this is, a one-time thing for you, that's why I was thinking about it, and I get why so many people ask, what's a good age to take your kids?
Yeah.
Because if they're going like, okay, this is, a one-time thing, or maybe once every 5 years, once every 10 years, and they don't want to waste all of this money to begin with, and time and energy when their kids are going to be, not ready for it, because this is like their one chance. Like, absolutely, yes, and we can get into what I think about that after we explain.
All right, so go ahead. So
okay, so some backstory.
Backstory.
So backstory is, for the last 5 months, our family has just been sick. I mean, we've said it on the podcast. You were sick, your voice, but pretty much nonstop.
Yeah,
I have been keeping
winter.
track. And we haven't gone more than 2 weeks without somebody being sick. And if someone is sick, at least 3. Like, there hasn't been a time where just one of them is sick.
Yeah.
At least 3 of the kids have it. You and I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't get it. But we literally haven't gone more than 2 weeks without sickness in the house. And it's getting to us.
Oh, yeah. It's gotten to us.
It has gotten to us.
It has hit the fan.
Because right before you and I took our trip, well, after our Disneyland trip in February with your family, we came back sick.
Yep.
And Georgia had it, and we were like stressed out because we were leaving for Florida, and I didn't feel comfortable leaving her, but she was getting over it. So we were like, okay, she's okay. We came back, and then someone else got We didn't get sick.
We didn't get sick.
But another kid got sick. Then by like mid-March, when they had it again, we were like, okay, because it's just like this cold that lingers and this horrible cough. So they'll sound horrible for weeks and then they get it again. We were like, okay, we're coming out of winter. It's going to get better.
Yeah. Nope.
No. Poor little Georgia girl got it again in April. And then a week and a half after she was like better, she got it again.
We both got
last
it twice.
Week. Yeah.
I got it first. She got it.
And then she got it.
I got it again. And then she got it.
And she got it. And this was, and the whole time the boys are kind of like sniffling and coughing. Is this allergies? Is this sickness? They don't have a fever, but they don't sound good. It's just like constant not knowing. So she was better for like a week and a half, got it again. She gets this horrible cough, keeps her up all night, keeps us up all night, blah, blah, blah. Then we're like, okay, she's coming out of it. We're going to be okay for our trip, because also this trip, it was a quick trip. Mm-hmm. It was a surprise. We were not telling our kids. Mm-hmm. So we were surprising them. So we were going to take them out of school early, which haven't had to do unless they were sick, for anything fun, so we weren't telling them we were taking them out early. We were going to take them out early and then leave from there.
Yep.
So we're like stressing out because we're like, okay, you guys have to go to school because this ruins our plan if you're not at school. So she's sick. She's getting over it. Oh, look at that. This was over the weekend. This was last weekend.
Yeah.
And like, she's not sounding good. Okay, but it's been a couple of days. She usually starts to come out of it. Oh, look at that. Noah has a fever. Great. This is Saturday night.
Well, Jack got it first.
That's right, Jack. That's right. Because so Georgia had it. A week goes by. Jack gets it. Mm-hmm. Half a week later, she gets it again. Then she's coming out of it. Oh, look, Noah has a fever. Oh, Boston doesn't seem so good. So Sunday night, and we're okay. At this point, we're like, okay, they're coming there, but like Noah's already feeling better. He had a fever for like half a day, but he's already feeling better. Mm-hmm. Boston says he's fine. Okay, all right. Now Georgia's getting over it. Okay, we're coming out of it. This was like Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. We're like, okay, we'll be fine. We have a week. Like Boston's a little sniffly, but we have a week. Sunday night,
they're all coughing up their lungs, though.
Yeah,
they're still coughing.
Sunday afternoon, Boston's eyes are bothering him, and
I can't help but laugh.
They progressively get more goopy and more red, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, you have pink eye." So Monday,
what are the chances?
So Monday, you take him to the doctor.
Yep.
Get him some drops. He has 24 hours on the drops. He won't be contagious. He takes him for a week. Okay, we'll be fine. We'll be fine for Disneyland. Keep everyone away from him, which we did.
Yep.
I did not allow Georgia near him. We were cleaning things, not letting them share toys. We can't have another kid get this right now. Okay. So that was Monday. Tuesday, eyes were already looking better because he's been on the drops. Great. Keeping him away from Georgia. On the afternoon drive to pick up the boys from school, Georgia throws up. And I'm like, no, you're better. You're still coughing, but you're better. But I just thought, okay, she coughed hard and just kind of gagged herself. I'm like, okay, I think she's okay. It's kind of weird, but okay. And then we get home from getting them from school and she feels warm again. And this is now she's almost a week from when she got this sickness. So she should be coming out of it. She feels warm again. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's just keep going. She's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. You come home. I left for a while. I get home and you say, Georgia threw up again.
Big time threw up.
Big time threw up. And I'm like, okay, but what are the chances? She hasn't gone anywhere. No one has gone anywhere. That she gets a stomach bug on top of this. No one else has a stomach bug. No one else's stomach is upsetting them. Figured out, I'm pretty sure she ate something that didn't agree with her earlier that day. And I kind of figured out what it was. Because the next day, she's fine.
Yeah. Totally fine.
She's coughing a bit, but not that bad. Doesn't have a fever. Boston doesn't have a fever. Eyes are looking way better. He goes to school. Because it's been 48 hours on,
2 days,
on
yeah.
drops. So he's good. He can go to school. He feels fine. Great. Fantastic. Georgia hasn't thrown up. She's not even coughing that much. No fever. I pick him up from school Wednesday. This week is ridiculous now that I am telling this story.
I know. It's so crazy.
Wednesday, I go pick him up from school. We're driving home. We have a bit of a drive from their school to our house. Boston is in the back of the van, falling asleep. And this boy, this is the first sign when he is sick.
Yeah.
He's exhausted. He's so tired. And he's falling asleep in the back of the van, like can't keep his head up. It is bobbing. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. What is happening?
Gosh.
It was every afternoon of this week, of this last week.
Yep.
In the mornings, we would think we were okay. And then in the afternoon, something would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Get him home. Also, this was like the open house night at school
Yep.
that he was excited about.
Yep.
So I get him home. I'm like, if you want to go lay down, he immediately goes to his room and he sleeps for over 2 hours, I think.
He chose sleeping over video games.
Yeah.
That's how you know he does not feel good.
And this boy does not miss playing video games.
Yep.
So he wakes up and I feel him and he is hot.
Yep.
He's got a fever. Our thermometer was broken because it said his fever was 128. And I was like, no, that's not accurate.
He's boiling.
And then it said he was 94. So I was like, we need new batteries in this thing. So he's hot. He misses open house. He's bummed. I feel bad. I'm also stressing out because we're leaving on Friday.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, darn it. I take the other boys. You stay home and you're like, yeah, Georgia's warm. She has a fever. I'm like, what is, like, oh my gosh. Thursday, I keep Boston home because he had a fever. So I don't let him go to school, but he's totally fine. George is totally fine.
Yep.
Great. Thursday afternoon, George has a fever. I'm like, what?
But not as the fevers in the afternoon gradually got less and less.
Yes, they weren't as high, and it would only be for a little bit, and I
Only
wouldn't
for a
even
few
give her
hours.
anything. It would kind of just go away. I'm like, okay, she's just like getting over this. Okay. Boston's eyes are looking great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He can go to school on Friday.
Yep.
Like, he's fine. He wants to go to school. He has energy. He's fine. So, Friday, take him to school. We wait a little while, take him out early, tell him, hey, our stuff's in the car. We're going to Disneyland.
Shocker. Yay.
2 of them are excited. The other one's mad. Or no, I'm sorry. 3 of them are excited.
Yes.
Georgia was excited. The other one's mad because we changed plans on him and he doesn't like that. So from now on, we won't surprise him. We'll just surprise the others.
Yep.
We've learned our lesson. But he's feeling better. Everyone's fine. Everyone's fine. So we get to Disneyland. We hit traffic. It took a while, which we left later than we normally do. Okay, we get to Disneyland, get to our hotel, we do some chill. We had dinner too, and then we were just going to go in for the fireworks. We're standing at the train to get on the train. Oh, I also want to say that Georgia just turned 3, and she is the definition of a 3-nager. Like,
oh my gosh, it's been so bad.
It has been so, and it's not like she was a little peach to deal with before this. Like, she's either the sweetest, this is typical toddler, sweetest, most adorable thing you've ever seen. And like so sweet and considerate and will thank me for things that none of the boys ever thanked me for.
Thank you, Mama.
So sweet. Or an insane monster that is demanding and bossy and you better do this now. We're driving to Disneyland. She wants to go on Small World. We're like, yeah, we're on our way. No, now. I'm like, do you want me just, and I know it doesn't make sense. You can't explain this to a 3-year-old and like, she doesn't know time, but you're like, you want me just to make us appear there? Like, what do you?
Poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need?
I'm like, Georgia, we are driving. And so I explained, I'm like, when we drive to go to the boys' school? Yeah. I'm like, we leave the house and then we drive and we go. Yeah. I'm like, that's what we're doing. We're driving to Disneyland. Oh, Tay. A Small World? Yeah, we're on our way. No! Because she doesn't know. But it's exhausting and infuriating. And you're trying to stay calm and explain, but she doesn't stop. She doesn't give up. She continues to ask every minute or two.
While in LA traffic.
Yeah.
Just trying to go and having to deal with that.
So you're just like, okay. So we get there. We're waiting in line for the train because we're in line to get into the park and she wants to ride. She's not train, please. train, choo, 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 choo. We're like, yeah, we'll go on the train. We can go on the train first. We're in line. She starts saying she's scared because also she contradicts herself 18 times a minute. So there's that too. Oh, train on choo choo. I want train. Okay, we'll go on the train. No, I scared. I scared. Okay, you don't want to go on the train? No, the train. Like she has no idea what she wants ever. So we're in line for the train and you notice or one of us noticed. I don't know.
I did. She had some
dry goop in her eye.
I'm like, okay, that's
okay. She's crying. She's crying. She's crying. She was crying.
Yeah.
So she's crying. So we go on the train. She's scared. She likes it. She's scared. She likes it. We get off. She doesn't want to ever do it again. Okay, we're not doing it again. We're going. Oh, you wanted to get a sweater, so we go over to Tomorrowland because you forgot your sweater. Let's get you a sweater. We're in the gift shop. I look down at her. There's green goopies in her eyes.
Big old green goops.
At this point, I start to cry.
Well, I was looking at, I grabbed the sweater and I was like, hey, do you think this size would fit me? And you just had this look of dread on your face. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what's wrong?
I'm so done. I'm so done. Like, are you kidding me after this week? Also, this whole week, I'm trying to like pack secretly while dealing with the sick kids. Like, and then we get there. It's also, by the way, the reason we do this surprise, it's our anniversary.
Yes.
So we always do something as a family for our anniversary as well as something just me and you. Mm-hmm. This was like our surprise for our family for our anniversary. Yeah. So this was literally on our anniversary.
Yes.
Friday was our anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, and she's just not happy with anything because she doesn't feel good. And you feel
eyes
for
are bugging her. Yeah.
But I was just like, it's been a week almost. Mm-hmm. And he's been on antibiotics. And I tried so hard. I wouldn't let him out of his room. I wouldn't let them share anything for 2 days until he had been on the antibiotic for 2 days. Like I tried so hard. And then we were days away from that. Thought we were good. She threw up, but then she's fine. Okay, we're good. Fevers, okay, they're gone. We're good. Are you kidding me? Like, I was just like totally defeated, like just completely defeated. Yeah. So then you decided, because she was just not going to be happy with anything. She was just throwing a fit over everything.
Yeah.
So you were like, I'm going to take her back to the room and you guys can stay, me and the boys. So we ended up doing that. You took her back, got her to bed, and the boys and I stayed. But even that, and I was trying not to be irritated with them, but it's like, we went on Star Tours, and I really wanted to see the new Pixar fireworks.
Yeah.
I've always been more into the fireworks shows than they are. They a lot of times don't want to stay, but then when we have them stay, they think they're great.
Yeah.
But like, remember a few years ago, as Georgia was a baby that summer, and it was the Disneyland Forever fireworks.
Yeah.
And so they just kept complaining the whole time we were waiting. And you and I were like, no, we love these fireworks. We're watching them.
Yeah.
Like, get over it. And then afterwards, they were like, that's so cool. Yeah. But the whole time they're sitting there complaining, you know, why? We ask ourselves why we do this all the time. So they didn't really want to. And also it was busy. And the way they marked it off differently. They roped it off differently where you could watch fireworks. Yeah. They also, similar to what we noticed in Magic Kingdom, had more, or more strict, like, what's the word?
Like the ways that you can walk?
Yes. Like usually there's like
traffic.
The path.
Yeah.
Remember when they used to just have a parade and then during the middle of the parade, they would like open it up and you could walk across. And like same with fireworks, kind of. It was like you could kind of, how it used to be. I know I've told the story a million times when I was in high school. Like we were just walking through in front of the castle and just stopped and watched the fireworks in the middle of the fireworks because you could.
Yeah.
But like it's all one way traffic. So we're trying to find a spot and I didn't get a spot early enough. They wanted snacks after the ride, and so we got some snacks and so, but by the time you get around to one area and realize there's no spots there, it's one way. So we have to go all the way back through Tomorrowland to wrap around to get back over in front of the castle. And it was just like, and everyone is, pushing,
What time was that at?
It was a little before 9.
Okay.
So it wasn't.
That's probably why.
And fireworks started at 9:30.
Yeah.
Because we got off the ride. You know, they wanted different snacks.
Of course.
And so we had to wait a while for popcorn.
Yeah. I didn't get a popcorn bucket. I wanted one of either the Jabba popcorn bucket or the Stormtrooper popcorn bucket. I totally forgot.
They probably won't be there
Yeah.
in July when we take our son for his graduation gifts.
Probably not.
What's wrong with us?
Yeah. Well,
But
gluttons for punishment. But
Yeah,
we'll get
yeah.
into that later. But go ahead.
so I'm like, oh, check this out. There's a spot. So we like get under the rope and Boston's just like, I don't want to. I want to go back. I'm tired. I'm like, okay, he's getting over being sick. I shouldn't push him. But I was like, what do you all want to do? Noah was like, I'll go back. Jack was like, I don't care either way. But he did at one point say, are we just going to drop him off in the room and then come back in? I was like, but it's kind of by the time we get back to the room, like,
Yeah.
and then back in, it's just, no, it's going to be too much, you know? And so I was like, fine, we won't watch the fireworks. Like, let's go. So we get out, we walk, and I was like, all right, I'm getting myself a churro before we get on the monorail because we were staying at the Disneyland Hotel. So I was like, we're riding the monorail back. I'm not walking back.
Yeah.
So wait in line for a churro, get over to the monorail, and it's closed. She's like, oh, yeah, we closed for the fireworks. But they started in like 8 minutes. I was like, okay.
I feel like that's new.
I don't know.
I don't
I
remember them
really
doing
don't
that.
know. I really don't know. But I was like, okay, if we start to try to walk, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
Boston is very tired. It is so crowded right now with the fireworks and the way they have traffic. By the time we get to the front gate, the fireworks will probably almost be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then we still have to walk all the way through downtown Disney.
Yep.
If we just sit and wait for 15 minutes, because it's only 15 minutes, then we can get on the monorail.
Yeah.
Boston doesn't want to do that. And I'm like, buddy, no. Like, I'm trying to like give options. I was like, wait a second. No, that's right. I'm the adult. And I was like, no, this is what we're doing. Because he started saying like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. I'm like, no, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we went over by Matterhorn, sat on a bench, and we could see the fireworks. We couldn't see projections or anything. So a lot of it, I'm like, what is happening right now? Looked like a cool show, but didn't really get to see it. But so then after that, walked over to the monorail, got on, got back to the room. But it was just like, yeah. So then wake up in the morning. It's pretty obvious she has pink eye.
Yeah.
It's not horrible, but pretty obvious. But she's
Never
in a
got
good,
as bad as Boston.
yeah, but she's in a good mood. She doesn't have a fever. She wants to go to Disneyland, and we're like, well, what are you gonna do?
Sorry, people who come home and you have pink eye, especially those who went to the Lego store today. When you have a 3-year-old and you just want them to stay happy, you try to clean their hands as much as possible.
Oh my gosh, I went through so much hand sanitizer. My hands are like raw. Like,
But, you
I wash my
know-
hands so much.
I apologize if you went to.
Don't judge us,
We tried our best,
or you
okay?
can judge us.
Judge us. That's fine.
I kind of judge us, but I'm like, I see when you see people there, and you like, oh my gosh, that kid just threw up. What do you like? Say you're flying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you get there, and then it's like, oh my gosh, my kid just threw up. And you're there. Because we were like, okay, if we leave, we already paid. Like,
Yeah.
it's too late to cancel the hotel. So, anyways, we go in. We slept it. We did not rope drop. I was like, we are not rope dropping.
Nope.
The whole time I wanted this trip to just be like chill. We didn't even know if we were going to get reservations on Saturday. We didn't
Yeah.
have reservations for the park on Saturday. So we were like, okay, it's just a chill pool day. Maybe we just hang out in downtown Disney, check things out we haven't, let the kids swim, whatever. On our drive down, we got some reservations, so we could go in. But I was already in. I didn't have anything I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to see the Pixar fireworks, and I wanted to do the Pixar playtime show with her, but I didn't have anything like.
And the parade.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I did want to see the Pixar parade.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of Pixar that she loves, and I thought she really likes Magic Happens,
Yeah.
and I thought she'd really like it. So she was just, I want to go on Small World. Okay, let's go on Small World. No, I'm scared. I'm going to Small World now. No, I'm scared. Like just all day, constant. And you're just like, okay. You don't want her to rule your life. You don't want to make her in charge and make her, but you don't know how not to. That's how toddlers are. Yeah. And if any of you have ever had toddlers, or if you have a toddler, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I don't want to offend anybody. We have very strong-willed children.
Yes, we do.
We have very stubborn, very strong-willed children. A few of them are very deeply feeling children. Mm-hmm. They feel things very deeply. Yeah. Kind of like anger from inside out. It's true though. Like it's a thing. We do not have easy toddlers, but we also have kids that aren't pushovers.
Yeah. They stand their ground.
Like, they stand their ground. They don't want to do that. They're not going to do it, which yes, is frustrating with chores. But then when I hear them with their friends sometimes and they're like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, yeah, you stand up for yourself. So yeah, just a mess. I don't even know. Like,
what did we even do? What did we do on Saturday?
I honestly don't even know.
That was yesterday.
That was only yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so what did we do? We got in. Did we ride the monorail? No.
I hardly even took any pictures.
I know.
I brought my nice camera. I was like, I'm coming. I'm going to do some content. I'm going to shoot some stuff. And I hardly did anything.
Hardly
just because
anything.
Either holding Georgia or just sitting with her trying to calm her down. Or
okay, what did we do?
We did Small World.
We did Small World first because the boys were mad about it because I know. Okay, so we did Small World all together. Mm-hmm. Then you took the boys to do Autopia, and she wanted to go on Teacups. So I took her and did some rides in Fantasyland. Like we did the Teacups, we did the carousel, and we did. Maybe that was it. She loves Teacups and she loves the carousel. I think that was it. Yes, and then I took her to Toontown. So also I apologize to anyone. I was like trying not to let her touch it, but I like gave her hand sanitizer like a lot. Like I'm like every time we did anything, I'm like, okay, hand sanitizer.
We did Hyperspace Mountain.
Oh yeah, so we got Genie Plus. Waste of money. No,
I disagree.
Okay, no, you're right.
We made up for it in the afternoon.
That's true.
Evening.
You guys had a good evening. Okay, so we got Lightning Lane for that. For Hyperspace
Mountain. This was
Mountain.
Also grad night weekend, the first weekend of grad night.
And Mother's Day.
And Mother's Day weekend. So it was.
Yeah, because our anniversary always falls around Mother's Day.
So it was very busy. Although Genie Plus wasn't, all the rides, like there was only like a few. It was like Indiana Jones, Hyperspace Mountain. Those were out like hours ahead. Mm. So like by the afternoon, they were already like at 10 p.m. Everything else was only like 30, 45 an hour ahead.
Yeah. Which when we were there in February, it was like everything was really far out. Yeah. I remember it was kind of like, ooh. Also, the splash pad in Toontown is open. Donald's little splash pad. So kids absolutely love it. And it'll be great in the summer. If your kid doesn't mind getting wet or likes getting wet. Again, I have shared this tip before for the old Bugs Land in California. If your kid doesn't like to stay wet, maybe bring a change of clothes. If they're wearing socks, definitely bring a change of socks. Mm-hmm. If you really want to let them play, this one is much smaller than the Bugs Land one. Yeah. The Bugs Land one was big. So, and at the time we only had 2 kids.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Boston played in it a couple times.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
Anyways,
yeah.
I would bring their swim shorts and change them into it and let them play for a while. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so she played in there. Then you guys met up with us. And we had a little while before our Lightning Lane. So we weren't really sure what to do. Georgia freaked out when we left the splash pad. And it took her a long time to calm down. We were just letting her scream because it We were those parents this time, you guys.
Yes.
We were those parents.
Mm-hmm.
So we finally get her to calm down, and it wasn't that long before the Pixar pal around party thing starts at the Fantasy Fair area, which I was like waiting for show times, and then I found out it's just like a come and go party.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, why don't we do this while we wait? It was supposed to start like 15 minutes before our lightning lanes.
11:30.
Yeah. So I was like, why don't we do this? So we wait for that. We go in. It looks so cute.
Yeah.
Like I was really excited about it.
Whole bunch of like photo op areas.
Yeah.
Characters come out.
They play
You
some
take pictures.
shorts right before. And they were late. It was starting late. So nothing was happening. It was time for our lightning lane. Georgia was getting kind of over it. She was like done waiting because she didn't know what was about to happen. I think she would have loved it.
Yeah.
Georgia also takes a while to warm up to things.
Mm-hmm.
But then once she does, she loves it. So then I was like, do you want to go? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, boys, do you want to go? And they were like, yeah, we want to, they wanted to go to Hyperspace Mountain. So we're like, all right, let's just go. Like she doesn't know what she's missing. So let's just get out of here. So we did that. Super fun. Hyperspace Mountain.
Oh, on the way, we finally got the
that's
the
right.
pretzel, the cheesy garlic pretzel bread from
Is it Edelweiss?
Edelweiss Snacks.
Yes.
It was very good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
We didn't do the whole, so there's a reel that was going around that someone got the shish kebab from the barbecue place.
Bengal barbecue.
Bengal barbecue. And then cut open the bread and put that in there.
Mm-hmm. That would have been really
We
good.
didn't do that. We just got the bread, but that would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely recommend getting that. But yeah, so we do rider. Well, we take turns. We had Lightning Lane, but we took turns because, she can't ride it. Did Hyperspace Mountain. And then we were going over to California for lunch. So we do that.
She falls asleep.
She falls asleep. Oh, thank the Lord. She falls asleep.
For a while, for a couple
She
hours.
was tired.
Yeah.
She went to bed late, woke up early. She was really tired. So we ate lunch. I got, what was that drink I got?
The
broke.
water, the candy watermelon.
Okay. So
at Paradise Garden Grill, California Adventure.
So we've talked about how it's like we will get a drink at Disneyland, but like not with our kids. I broke that rule. Okay,
it was one of those trips.
It was never a rule. We were just like, oh, and I was like, I want that. It sounds good. And I mean, it's not even like the amount of alcohol they put at drinks in Disneyland.
And it's not that much.
And you guys, I'm a lightweight because I don't really drink that much. I feel nothing. Like they don't put a lot in there. Like, so it's not like I'm like, oh, I want to get a drink. Like, it's like, it sounded good. So hang on. I want to find what it was. It wasn't at Boardwalk Pizza. It was right next to it.
It was
Paradise Garden Grill.
Yep.
All right, let's see. I also got the like tacos. Yeah, the pineapple. Ooh, I don't know what that is. Quiote marinated pork tacos. They were really good. Okay.
I got a kids meal pork tacos. It was good. It was kids meal. It was cheap.
They have gluten free there.
Oh, they do? No, good to know.
Yeah, we're starting to cut out gluten, you guys.
It's a challenge.
It is a challenge. Okay, wait. I saw drinks, but I didn't see it. Is it already gone? Beverages.
It's under
Assorted fountain, play in the park thermo tumbler. They don't.
Yeah,
I found it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was that much. Holy moly. Okay. Anyways, it's tequila, watermelon schnapps.
What was it called?
Oh, I'm sorry. Watermelon candy cocktail.
That's what it is, yeah.
Tequila, watermelon schnapps, and pineapple juice with a chamoy and chili lime seasoned rim. It also comes with a chamoy lollipop. It's good. It was good. If you like chamoy, like the spicy.
I took a drink of it. I was like, oh my gosh, it was like maybe pucker and also super spicy. I was like, oh my.
Like the drink was very like really good and like watermelon and refreshing. And then the like spicy was if you like that combination, like if you like doing the tahini on your watermelon, I think you'd like this. So then there was that. So she was asleep. Then we had a lightning lane for Toy Story Mania. We were we can all go on that because there's no height limit. But we're like, all right, she's asleep. And she's gone through this phase where she is scared of everything. So when we went with your family in February, she was afraid of everything. She was still kind of like that. So I was like, why don't you guys go? I'll sit with her and then I'll just go by myself. Because that's one that I could ride by myself. And, there's certain rides that are more fun with friends and others that like alone are fine. And I was like, I could ride that by myself. By the way, so I was sitting like on the dock area, on the pier, like near the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
On a bench. It was very nice. She's sleeping. You guys are on the ride. There was a little girl. There was like a school. I don't know if it was a school or like a birthday party trip. There was all these girls, young girls, like 10, 11, wearing, maybe 12, wearing like matching sweaters and their moms. Okay. This one girl didn't want to go on the Ferris wheel. So she sat out while her friends were on. But she wanted to get their attention. They're on the bench next to me. She's yelling, screaming at her friends. And her mom isn't like telling her anything. I'm like, there is a sleeping, okay, I was going to say baby. She's not a baby. Sleeping kid in a stroller right next to you. And she is screaming at her friends, hey, guys. And her mom's just sitting there. And I'm like, and I know you don't need to like keep it down in a theme park, but like just walk over a couple of steps. Like she was sitting next to the stroller. And I was like, oh my gosh, Georgia stayed asleep. But I was like, so I just kind of kept like scooting the stroller farther and farther away from her. But anyway, so then you guys got back. I decided I just didn't feel like it. And it wasn't even a bad thing. It wasn't like I was like, I don't want to go, forget it. I don't care. I just was like, no, I can skip it. I don't want to wait in line right now. I just want to all of us go and do the next thing. Like I would rather just stick together and go do something else than ride it. So, but then we go to get a snack and she wakes up screaming because she can barely open her eyes.
Crusted shut.
Oh my gosh. I was just like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. Like, why are we even here? Like, and
so we did Soarin'.
You guys went and did Soarin', and I was like, I'm going to take her back. Like we tried to figure out what to do, but she just wanted me to hold her. She's 3. So carrying her around is exhausting now. And she just was upset about everything, just crying, just wouldn't stop crying. And I'm like, she doesn't feel good. This is not fun. Because I wanted to go get spots. I thought if she calmed down while you guys did Soarin', I was going to go get a spot for the parade because it was at 4.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think she'll really like this parade. She loves Inside Out. So I'm like, yes, Inside Out. But she just wouldn't calm down. I'm like, this isn't fun. And Boston had got upset earlier because he wanted to swim. But I was like, I don't know if we're going to have time to swim today. And then he got really upset, blah, 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 blah. So then finally I was like, I'm taking her back. I'm going to take her back to the room. We're just going to chill, watch some Bluey or something and just let her be. And we can come back in for dinner. And then you asked the boys, you're like, do you want to just go back and go swimming? And they were all like, yes.
Yeah, they loved it.
So that's what we did. I just sat with her. She was upset she couldn't go swimming. So she screamed about that for quite some time. But we watched a movie and just sat, and you took the boys swimming, and she would go between being like laughing and playing with me and happy and then screaming her head off at me because I didn't know what snack she wanted. Like she wants to eat. Oh, do you want this or this? And you're like, I don't even. I was like this when Noah was her age because they talk nonstop.
Yeah.
He doesn't anymore, but when he was a toddler, nonstop questions, nonstop talking. And I run out of answers. I run out of things to say. And so I remember this with Noah too. I would just be like, like I seriously feel like my mouth can't even form words. Like I'm just like, it's just because it's like that. Yeah. I can't talk to you anymore. But she perked up. She got better. She had a lot of chocolate milk. And then we go back in for dinner. And she wants to ride the teacups. That's all she can talk about. So then I was like, okay, let's go back in for dinner. I'll take her on the Teacups or Small World if she wants to, and then I'll bring her back and put her to bed at a reasonable time.
Yeah.
And you and the boys can go watch the fireworks in Galaxy's Edge with the new music and all that. You guys can ride some rides. Like, let's do that. I'll get a good dessert and I'll watch a movie on my iPad while she's asleep because it will be peaceful. I'm fine with that. When she is like that, I get very quickly peopled out.
Yes.
So like when she's like this in a crowd, not because I'm embarrassed or worried what people think, because it's my fourth. I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's just too much stimulation.
It's a lot of
So I'm just like, I don't want to be around people.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to sit in darkness and quiet. So that's what I did. So we got dinner at, okay, this is funny though. We got dinner at Red Rose Tavern. I don't know if it's funny, but I thought it was funny. We've never eaten there.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like a burger or anything. And they had their plant-based option was like, it said quinoa with mushrooms and cauliflower and some of their like crispy tots with like a lime cilantro dressing. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I'll try that because I don't feel like a burger or anything. It was mainly a bowl of tater tots. Like it was all tater tots with a tiny bit of quinoa, a tiny bit of mushrooms, and barely any cauliflower with the lime cilantro dressing or whatever the dressing was. And I was like, or lime aioli, I don't know. And I was like, okay, but this is just like eating a bowl of tater tots with lime dressing on it. Like, I mean, it didn't taste bad.
The tater tots were really good.
The tater tots were really good, but I was like, it's just like a bowl of it was like barely any quinoa. I was like, okay. Didn't taste bad, just not what I thought it was. Also, I saw a man shouting at his daughter, and I like stopped and glared at him for a while, but he didn't look up. I just wanted him to know that wasn't okay. And then maybe I should have said something.
So it's like he
was like, yelling at her. Like, and she wasn't, I mean, it wouldn't have been okay at any age, but she was probably like 8 to 10 maybe. Mm-hmm. And he was shouting at her and like, we don't need any more freaking candy, and like yelling. And he knows he's in public. Like he just, and I'm like, dude, I've been dealing with a lot too. Okay. My 3-year-old's crazy. My 8-year-old's giving me a hard time too. I'm not shouting at them in public.
We want to. We want to yell at them.
But I don't.
But we don't. We keep it
I'm
inside.
not saying I don't ever yell. Of course. Like who doesn't?
It happens sometimes.
It happens. But like, not like the way he would. Like I was like, oh my gosh, if you're doing that in front of tons of people.
Yeah, what are they doing at home?
Like, what are you doing at home?
Yeah.
Like, but then, and like, obviously she's used to it because she like sat up from she was sitting in a stroller. She was but she like slammed it and was like, where's mom? Like she shouted. I'm like, okay, so you guys just yell at each other. Okay. But I was like, yeah, it was a little upsetting. But, so yeah, so then we split up. I took her on the carousel.
We got our one family picture.
Oh yeah, we were like, we haven't taken like any pictures.
I think I have like a handful of pictures from this trip. Usually I have like tons because I like taking pictures and videos.
Yeah, I have quite a few of Georgia because I'm always now. Okay, so before we had her, we had our 3 boys, and I usually did things alone because Jack and Noah would want to do things the last several years before she was born. When they were really little, it's like, obviously I had them, but like once they got a little older, Jack and Noah would always be together. And then Boston always wants to be with you. Yeah. So I'd always be alone. And it's like, man, if I had a daughter, I wouldn't be alone. Well, then I got a daughter and now it's always me and her. And then you go off, because this is another thing that is something that I am realizing that is going to be difficult. And I've always known this with the age gap, but there wasn't anything I could do about the age gap. Mm-hmm. Just happened this way. We have teenagers, or a teenager and preteens, and then a toddler. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to do the same things, obviously.
Yeah.
And even when we had the boys and like one boy was bigger or even not bigger, like Boston wants to go on Guardians and Jack, the oldest, doesn't. That was different. This is like, we need to go at her pace, which is slow.
Yeah.
and stick in Fantasyland because she's going through the phase of being scared of everything because kids do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a teenager who wants to go off and do everything alone. And so it's a hard period of time,
Yeah.
which is sad. Just because, I mean, then you're like, okay, well, it's just easier if I go off with her and you take the boys and do stuff they want to do.
Yeah.
Because what did you guys do then?
So yeah. So after you left, we got when we were going to dinner, I was like, okay, we should get a lightning lane for something that we can do afterwards. So I got Smuggler's Run because I know we wanted to be in Galaxy's Edge for the fireworks show over there. So I got Smuggler's Run, literally like walked right on.
Nice.
But what was weird though was we were actually inside the Falcon, like where you wait for them to call your color. We were in there for probably, I want to say like 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Which is cool because usually you go in there and then they call your color
Right. You don't
right
get
away.
to, check
you don't
it
get
out.
to check it out.
Maybe they
but
were
they
having
were-
problems with
What
one
was weird, they were calling groups that came in after us, before us, which was really
That's weird.
strange.
of them. These are marshmallow leaves.
Are you eating your
I'm eating my Disneyland cake pop.
and so that was really weird. But anyways,
Yeah.
it was cool because we got to, play around with stuff in there.
Yeah.
And so we had two other people with us who got the engineers, which I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Engineers shoot things? No, engineers grab the
The grappling
cargo.
hook. Yeah, they sit in the back and they got like one job. It's kind of a boring one.
Who was the pilot?
Jack and Noah were pilots because me and Boston were pilots last time.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, was that a fight?
So no, Boston didn't fight about it at all, which was good. So me and Boston were gunners, and we did good. We got both the coaxium.
Sure, whatever. You got the box thingy.
Yeah, we got the two boxes. It was good. Boys flew pretty good. So that was fun. And so yeah, so we weren't there. This was 7:30 was our lightning lane, and we were out by like 7:50.
Oh wow, that's good.
So fireworks aren't until 9:30, and so I was like, I wonder what we could do. So I was like, well, we could probably do. The boys want to do like either like Big Thunder or something else, and so I went to get Big Thunder. It was at 8:00. And I went to go grab it, and then the time changed to 8:55 to 9:55. I was like, we can't do that. And it was a 30-minute wait. I was like, by the time we get there and wait in line, it's going to be longer, and we're going to have to rush back. I was like, okay. So I was thinking, okay, we can do Star Tours instead. And then I was like, let me check one more time. So
who did you get? The second part of Star Tours.
Well, I haven't finished my story.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So before I got Star Tours Lightning Lane, I was like, let me check again. I refreshed the list, and it refreshed to 7:55 for Big Thunder. So an hour early.
Always refresh.
Yeah. So because someone could
Cancel
theirs, and so it comes out available, and so I was able to get that real quick, and so we were able to walk over to Adventureland, Frontierland, and which from Galaxy's Edge isn't that far.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's on the way, so we did that. I requested the back two.
Yeah, you did.
Rows. Me and Boston sat
Did you
in the
face
back.
the goat?
We did the goat stare.
Boston did it?
Boston didn't want to do it because he didn't want to be whipped around.
Okay, he did it with me last time.
Yeah,
and he was
I didn't
laughing.
I didn't want to get my head whipped off. That's what he said. I don't want to get my head whipped off. I did it while holding a camera, which was probably dangerous.
Ooh,
But yeah, it whips you around.
it does. Even when you're not in the back.
Yeah. So we did that, and then they want to do Star Tours. Star Tours is a walk on with I mean, it was available right now with Genie Plus. So did that. We got Ahsoka.
So you were with the flying whales.
Yeah. So that's the new scene. So because it's new, that's everybody gets that.
Oh.
So it's the one before that changes.
What'd you get?
We got Kashyyyk, the one with the
Wookiees?
Wookiees. Yeah,
Okay.
the Wookiee planet. And then we got Ahsoka in the middle, the giving the transmission.
That's what we got too.
I was hoping for like, because there's also because there's 3 new ones. There's the Mandalorian, Andor, and then Ahsoka. We got Ahsoka, and then you go into with the Purgles, the space whales. They're called Purgles, in case you're wondering.
Space whales.
So that was fun, and then after that, it was a little after 8. I think it was like 8:20 or something like that, 8:30. And so I wasn't expecting what was going to happen because we've never watched fireworks at Galaxy's Edge before.
Yeah.
And now with this new fireworks version of the fireworks on the Galaxy's Edge side, I wasn't sure what to expect. Like how many people are going to be there? Are there going to be a lot of people waiting? And I had a coworker who went on May 4th, and he said he couldn't find anywhere. It was jammed packed. It was also May 4th,
Right.
which is like Star Wars Holy Day. And so he said like they couldn't find anywhere. They ended up sitting on a bench by the droid builders area. And so they didn't really play much of the music there. He said you could kind of hear it and you could kind of see the fireworks like over the buildings.
That stinks.
So I was like, we have less than an hour. I don't know what's going to be like because people on Main Street start lining up 3-4 hours before.
Right after the parade. Yeah.
Before the fireworks. And so when we were walking from Star Tours back over to the Galaxy, we did a lot of walking. We went from Galaxies. We started out in Fantasyland for dinner.
Right.
Went over to Galaxy's Edge, did Smuggler's Run, went back to Frontierland for Big Thunder, then walked across Main Street to go to Tomorrowland to get Star Tours, and then walked from Star Tours across Main Street with all the crowds all the way over to the Millennium Falcon in Galaxy's Edge.
No wonder Boston fell asleep on the floor of the hotel room. Like,
but he did so good.
Was he in this? Because I left the stroller with you.
We left the stroller at Galaxy's Edge. So he walked the entire way.
Because I left the stroller with you because I was riding the monorail back. And being alone with Georgia and having to collapse the monorail, I was like, and the way she is.
You collapsed the monorail?
Yes.
The stroller.
Collapsed the stroller to get on the monorail. I was like, I won't be able to carry her and the stroller while I collapse it. She'll flip out. Like, so you kept the stroller. So I'm surprised you didn't have him just ride in it. One, because it's so much faster.
Yeah.
He's a slow walker.
But, so we got to Galaxy's Edge probably 50 minutes before the fireworks at 9:30, and there was nobody there. Like no one was waiting. There's like a few people who were like sitting around waiting. And I was like, we have the whole place to pick to where we wanted to watch. Because they tape off areas to where you can watch. So pretty much they have like a little walkway so that way people can walk into, Smuggler's Run.
Yeah.
But mainly it's roped from the wall all the way down in front of the Falcon, down to the wall where those boxes are where you can sit on the other side of the Falcon. And so you have this whole area. And so I kind of figured out where we wanted to sit. And so we sat there. And of course, just like how you had with the boys waiting for the fireworks the night before,
they didn't want to.
Boston, I decided, let me go get the stroller. So the stroller's with us.
Yes. And he could sit in it.
He could sit in it.
And he was cold. So and there was a blanket.
He sat in it and he put the visor down and put the blanket over the visor. So he was like in a tent. And
that boy.
he started like falling asleep.
Hmm.
And then Noah is sitting because like where the falcon is, and they have like these like light pedestal things like right in front of the falcon.
Yes.
So we were kind of sitting next to one, and
Okay.
because Noah wanted to sit down and like lean against something because his legs were tired. And so I was like, here, we can sit, this will be a good view, and we can see it right here, and you can sit right here and, lean your back against that. And he was grumpy. He's like, I'm cold. Boss will give me the blanket, and I don't really want to do this. I just want to go. And I was like, no, we're doing this. I want to see it, and we're going to sit here and wait.
Jack is the one who's pretty much up for whatever usually.
Yeah.
Like he'll just be like, whatever. Like, yeah, I'll do it.
So we wait, and then cast member comes up to us, and he's like, hey, wanted to know if you guys were interested. We have a lot of the kids, come up to the front area, because they had like another section that was roped off specifically for kids. We give all the kids training lightsabers, so that way when it calls for everyone to raise their lightsabers, that the kids have lightsabers to do it.
That's so cute.
And so these are like the leftover lightsabers from Jedi training. The kind
Jedi training.
the kind that you have to, they're like collapsible.
Yeah.
So you have to whip them out it was those type of so I just had flashbacks of when Jack did it, when he was actually too young.
So he was like a month too young, or a couple months too young. So
Yeah. And so, and it's like, you guys want to do that? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. So they all got like excited. And so they moved us all the way up to the front. And so we were in front, and they got their lightsabers, and it was mainly younger kids.
yeah, Jack's like the oldest.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's almost 14.
And so once they quickly figured out, I was like, oh, we just have lightsabers like to raise up. Noah thought, I was like, this is actually more boring than I thought. Boston liked it because they like played games. Like the cast members like to play games. They called Jedi Says, like Simon Says.
Oh yeah, he'd love that.
And so they played that, and then it started. I was a little disappointed in the fireworks show. I mean, I wasn't expecting a lot because I've already seen parts of it on social media, on Instagram, and so I knew it was just music. The fireworks that are happening, that's actually the Pixar fireworks.
Right.
And they just play Star Wars music that's timed to it on the Galaxy's Edge side. And so, excuse me. And so I wasn't expecting a lot. But there's parts where there's no fireworks. And so it's just playing music. And so you're kind of like,
where like there's projections on the castle or Small World, but not in
there's
Galaxy's
always
Edge.
something happening. And so it was kind of like, for me, it was kind of like a one and done type thing. It's like, I don't really need to see this again. I also think where we were at, yes, we were in front of everybody, which was nice. We didn't have anybody. There was no one in front of the kids to where they couldn't see.
That's nice.
But I think the fireworks.
Well, no, I know. But the fireworks are up in the sky.
Yeah.
So it's like if there's not projections, that's what's nice about Disney World, the castle being so big, it's easier to see the projections,
Yeah. Where I think it would be better is if you're farther back and you saw the whole like panoramic view of the Falcon and Galaxy's Edge with the fireworks going above.
Like if you're sitting up by Docking Bay 7.
Yes, because there was people already sitting there when we were looking for a spot. And so having that whole view, because where we were sitting, we were literally like under the front of the Falcon. So we were like where the 2 points of the Millennium Falcon are. We were like literally like under that part. So all we saw were like the mountains, the spires, and then the fireworks came out above that. So if you want like a better view with like Galaxy's Edge, I would actually go farther back, like against the wall of where the entrance of Smuggler's Run is, right below Docking Bay 7. Or if you go up the stairs, and if you want to stand and just, because I thought about that, it's like, oh, let's just stand right here and we can sit until then. But I wasn't really sure. But now I know that I think it's actually better if you're up higher.
Yeah, that makes
or
sense.
Further back.
Get a better.
So we did that. And by then, the boys were done. They're like, we want to go back. Jack wanted to do Astro Blasters. He said it was only 5 minutes. And I was like, let's walk over that way because we are going to Tomorrowland because we are taking the monorail back. And I wanted a churro.
Right.
And so we walked over there. By the time we got over there, so many people. Oh my gosh. Because we went the back way. So we walked out Galaxy's Edge behind Frontierland, then walked through Fantasyland, the back of Fantasyland, around Matterhorn, over to Tomorrowland. Because I was like, I don't want to go down Main Street, because it's gonna be crazy busy. Everybody's gonna be leaving.
Yeah.
But what I forgot is when you go around the backside of Matterhorn, there's like a traffic jam right there because you have people coming towards Fantasyland and you have people going towards Tomorrowland. And so it like bottlenecks right there. And so we didn't, it was really slow moving right there, but then we got through there. And by the time we got over there, Boston was asleep in the stroller.
Oh.
And it's like, I wanted a churro. Noah was throwing a fit because he just wanted to go. And by the time we got there, Astro Blasters was like 20 minutes, which still isn't that bad.
Not bad, but at that
point, I was like, I don't want to wait 20 minutes for Astro Blasters. And Boston's already asleep.
He's asleep.
He's not going to want to wake up.
Oh, goodness, no.
And so got churro, walked over to the monorail.
It sounded like you said God churro.
God churro.
What's that?
The ultimate churro. It's the God churro. The new flavor.
It's the new, only in Tomorrowland.
And walked up to the monorail and had to almost pick up Boston out of the stroller. He's a heavy sleeper.
Well, yeah, and he's
also
heavy. Like he's muscular.
Yeah.
And he's
and he was upset that I had to wake him up.
Yeah.
And I was like, just lean on me, bud. Just lean on me. And he pretty much fell asleep on me standing up.
Oh.
And then fell asleep on the monorail.
On the 2-minute monorail ride.
Yeah. And then had to wake him up again. And
then when you got in the room, he laid down right inside the hotel, like right in front of the door.
Yeah.
And fell asleep.
Yeah, by the time we got back, I think it was like 10:30.
It was after 10, yeah.
About 10:30 when we got back to the room at Disneyland Hotel.
Yeah. And then, so we didn't know what we were going to do today because typically on the day we leave, we go in for half a day, eat lunch, leave.
Yeah.
I told you. So when we went back to the hotel after we were in California Adventure, before we went back in for dinner, when you guys came back from the pool, I was like, I want to go home. Like,
yeah, that was another thing. It's like, you rarely ever say.
I have said it before, and I remember there was a baby.
I think it was one of the times with Noah, because Noah was a bad sleeper.
Maybe. Noah was a bad sleeper but also I feel like it was Boston. It was maybe when we took Boston when he was like a newborn or an infant. And I was like, I'm done. Like I want to be home now. I've said it a few times, but it's not a lot. I usually don't want to leave. The good times are when I'm like ready to go home. Like we're not ready to go home. I'm okay to leave.
Yeah.
I don't really want to leave, but like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a good time would be if I don't want to leave either. But no, I was like, I want to go home. Like
Yeah.
I'm so done. And again, this is leading up to what has been for the last few months. Like I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah. It's a culmination.
this is raw emotion. It's not because I would be crying if I was really letting it out, but I'm just done. Like the sicknesses, dealing with sick kids basically nonstop for several months now. I'm done. And so then this was all a lot and this week was just ridiculous where I was just like, I want to go home. I don't want to be around people. I don't like, and then I was like, I don't want to go in tomorrow. I don't want to go into the park. Like, I want to take our time. I want to pack. Also, the room was a mess, and I'm like, and then go. And you were like, yeah, I already told the boys, like, probably won't go in tomorrow. I'm like, okay. Then Georgia proceeded to have a bad night where I was up for over an hour with her.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, okay, I am not going into the park tomorrow. Like, I am done. She woke up crying because she couldn't open her little eye. And then she was just fidgety. And I was tipped over, like, what's more than 90 degrees? I was like, what would that be if I'm folded in half? Because I can't have she wants my hand on her, like patting her back or whatever. And she's in a bassinet, which this is probably the last time she's going to fit in this thing. I'm short, so I can't be on my knees and reach her. Standing up and leaning over hurts my back. So I had my butt against our bed. Yeah. And then I was tipped over, like folded in half over the bassinet with my hand on her, kind of falling asleep in that position.
And I felt bad too.
I tried to wake you up at one point. You didn't hear me. And I was like, I forget it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because usually I get up with her at night.
Well, because then too, I thought, okay, I don't want you to be tired tomorrow because I'm not driving.
Yeah.
Because usually on the way home, we'll kind of split the drive. And I was like, I'm not driving tomorrow, so I'm going to let you sleep. But
And And so like, because I usually get up with her in the middle of the night, and I was about to get up, but I saw you already had picked her up. I was like, okay, she's got her. If she needs me, she'll let me know. And I thought to myself, I was like, she's gonna want me to sleep because she's gonna want me to drive. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna feel too guilty about falling back asleep.
No, it was fine. Well, and then Boston kept having coughing fits.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys, it was just bad circumstances. Like I said, nothing went wrong as far as the parks.
Yeah.
It's not like we had this horrible experience and the rides broke down and nothing was working. It was just our current situation and kids being sick and Georgia's phase and all of that. And so we woke up, took our time. Boys were pretty much okay with not going in. Well, also because they got to go to the Lego store, which they are obsessed with Lego. So
we did rope drop something today.
I have video.
That was the Lego store.
Noah and Jack were first in line, waiting for the Lego store to open. And then when the doors opened, they like ran in.
Living their best life.
Yeah. But still, I get to downtown Disney and I see the monorail and I'm like, maybe just for a little bit. I'm like, what is wrong with you? No, do it. Because I wanted to go into like the home store in downtown Disney, just a couple of things like, and then we're like, okay, and then we can go. And I'm like, or we could just like go in for a little bit. And then I'm like, no. And you were like, I'm feeling the same way. Yeah. But we were like, no, because if it is just, let's go in and get lunch and come back, then that's one thing. But we don't take into account all of the people and how long it takes to get everywhere. And then everyone needs to go to the bathroom and there's lines where when we go to the bathroom at the hotel, there's no line and it's a lot faster. And we were like, no. Well, also it helped because we went to the Lego store. Went to the beignet, whatever it's called, the new beignet store.
It's a Jazz Kitchen.
Oh, it is the Jazz Kitchen?
Yeah, it's like it's their beignet shop that's next door to it.
Very good.
Beignet Express.
Very good. I got
wonderful.
Some original, and then I got some glazed, and then a couple strawberry glazed. Very good. So we got those. We all enjoyed those. And then I want to go to the home store. Go in the home store. She wants to put a blanket on her head and walk around. In a store full of things that are glass.
Things, yeah.
So you said no. And then she started screaming. So you took her outside, but you took her away from mama. So she is screaming outside. I'm in all the way in the back of the store, and I can easily hear this girl because this girl screams the top of her lungs. And I'm not kidding when I say, like, I'm honest. My watch goes off all the time with her, and it has since she was an infant, telling me that, like, if you continue to be, loud environment, if you continue to be in this many decibels, you are going to lose hearing. It's like, it tells me that all of the time.
Mm-hmm. I was just letting her scream.
You were just letting her sit there screaming.
I was like, there's nothing that I can do about this. And there's no point in trying to calm her down or like pick her up and move her away. I was like, no,
just let it out, girl.
I'm going to let her, let everybody stare at her, let her feel her feelings.
Feel your feelings, baby girl.
But also I was like, Mama's in there. She's coming right back. We're going to go, in just a minute. Mom's coming. Don't worry. I was reassuring her.
Right. But not like overly, because there is really nothing. You just got, like, sometimes I do. I just let her, like, you just got to let it out. And then she'll come down and come over and want to cuddle. Like, she's got to let it out.
I'm not going to yell at her to be quiet because that doesn't help either.
No, she doesn't understand. And that's just going to make it worse.
Yeah.
So I came out, but then that helped and like reassure us of we made the right decision. We just need to go. Because 1 minute she's in a great mood.
Oh yeah. She was loving the Lego store.
It fools you into thinking, oh, she's feeling good. We could do this. She's going to be happy. She wants to go on Small World. Let's go. And 2 seconds later, you're like, that's right. Okay. No, let's go.
The words of Michael Scott. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Strike 3.
Strike 3. But yeah, so we were like, okay, let's just go. We made the mistake of getting her a lollipop because she always asks for one from Disneyland, from Disneyland. And we get it for her, but we're like, you can't have it right now because you just had a bunch of beignets. You haven't had lunch. You need actual food. She proceeded to scream and cry for her Yayi Pop for well over an hour.
Yep. To the point to where she fell asleep.
As we walked back to the hotel, as we all went to the bathroom, you did distract her for a bit, taking her to the old Autopia car in the Disneyland Hotel. Mm-hmm. Then you bring her back. We're walking to the car. She asks me for her Yayi Pop. I say, not yet. Screams to the point where I put my loop earplugs in because I couldn't handle it. And my ears hurt so bad. They were aching. Until she fell asleep. So that was it.
Yeah, that was a trip. That was a trip.
Don't judge my daughter, though, you guys. She is really amazing. She really is the sweetest, cutest thing. But she's 3.
Every kid goes through this stage.
So here is my takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
After 4 of these, you know your kid. If we could only go once, in either once ever, once every 5 years, once every few years, once every decade, whatever it is. If you don't go regularly, you know your kid. If you have a toddler that is at times explosive, I'd wait.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would not take a toddler.
No.
Like our oldest is graduating 8th grade. And we were like, hey, as your gift, would you want to do a quick day? Just the boys, so just your brothers and your cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Not take Georgia. And he's like, yes. Actually, no, he had to think about it. But during this trip, he was like, I can't wait for July. I'm like, I know, but because all 4 of us, or all 6 of us, all the 4 boys are all old enough and tall enough to ride everything. Yeah. We don't have to stop for now. We won't have a toddler. And they're all super excited about that.
Yeah.
And so it's hard because you're like, but this is our family. And it's a hard period of time where it doesn't fit everybody.
Yeah.
In the same way. But yeah, like if you think, oh, I don't know if your kid is sensitive to change or takes a while to warm up to things, because I see kids all the time that are just going with it, and that's just not her.
Yeah.
That's not her. Like when she was a baby and like an early toddler, she was great. And she loved all the rides that she could go on. She wasn't scared of anything. the last several months, she's been more scared because she's getting more aware of things, you know, so things are scaring her. It's all the boys went through it too. She's also just having to learn how to wait and not wanting to. And it's all, you're waiting a lot at Disneyland. We're also dealing with 4 kids and they want to do different things. So, okay, we're going to go do this and then we're going to do that. No, she doesn't understand that. And, you know, she's acting like a toddler. She's not being bad. She's just being a toddler. But in this situation, it's very, very difficult. So I'd say if you have like a one-time trip planning, you want to take your kids, I'd wait.
Wait till they grow out of that.
And like you don't know, because it's like one of our kids grew out of it at like 3. Our other kid didn't grow out of it until 5. You know, I'm hoping, or maybe Noah was closer to 4 when he started like growing out of being a toddler. I mean, you know what I mean? The explosiveness.
Yeah.
Boston didn't start until like 4.
Yeah.
He was later, like as a toddler, he was really not bad.
No. Yeah.
And then a little later he started like, whoa, I thought we were sailing through this with you. But you know, just, I'd wait. Now, if you go regularly like us, you know, do what you want to do. But if, you know, I'd wait. Because it's hard for them too. It's like, they don't understand waiting or like, you know, so if like, maybe like 4 or 5, like a little, like I'm very excited to take her in like another year when she's, you know, found her favorite princess and wants to meet her and isn't scared of the characters anymore. I don't think she'd be scared of the people, but like the characters in suits, she's not afraid of Minnie, but everyone else she's kind of afraid of, but she's not afraid of Minnie. Yeah. Cause that's her favorite. But, where right now in this phase, it's just hard. So we're like, you know what? Our next trip, we're just taking, you know, 4 boys that are old enough. And then she's not going to go until sometime next year probably. And, you know, she needs it's not the right time for her. Cause she wasn't she was having fun when we were on the carousel, when we were on the teacups, she loved it. But other than that, and her bubbles. But you know, and it stinks that one person can, one tiny little person can determine the mood of everyone else. And I try to shake it off and like, don't let her mood affect everyone else's mood. But it is really hard. Yeah. It is. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting to try to make everyone like, okay, shake off the screaming 3-year-old and let's go have fun. Like it's tough. Yeah. It's tough. So it wasn't the best.
No. And that happens sometimes. And so I think if you have a trip coming up and your child is like that, or you have just went on a trip and had a not so ideal time as what you're expecting, it's okay.
Well, you say that, but what if it's like the only time they could go? I am sorry. My heart goes out to you. And I realize that we have this privilege of going often. And so we can talk about it like it's not a big deal, but how heartbreaking it would be. Because you think about this and you dream about taking your kids and like, how they're going to act. Like, it's easier for me now after 4 to shake off when my expectations aren't met of how they're going to react. But it's still hard sometimes. It's still like, I'm like, I really wanted her to see the parade. I thought she was going to enjoy it. And I imagined this moment, you know, or when we surprised them at school and Boston got mad. Yeah. It's like, we know him well. So we laughed at, we literally, not in his face, but quietly laughed because I was like, yep, that's what I expected. Because he just doesn't do well with change. So the day was changed and he was like, it took him a minute to be like excited. Mm-hmm. But it's, how many times have I like imagined, I want to get a picture here. And then no one wants to do it and everyone's mad. And then I get all upset, you know, like, that's hard. It's hard because you have these ideas and you have these like dreams of what you want and like this magical time and your daughter in her princess dress or whatever it is. And if you only go once and things all fall apart, it's hard not to have expectations. So it's like, I want to say like, don't have expectations, but I'm really bad at that. I tell myself that a lot, but I'm really bad at it. I think one of the reasons I'm not that upset about this trip is because I kept reminding myself that just go with it. I didn't really have anything I wanted to do that much. I wasn't expecting anything from her. I mean, I wasn't expecting her to get pink eye, but, yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling. My heart goes out to you. If you had like a once in a lifetime trip and it didn't go well, it breaks my heart a little bit for you because it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. And I hope you get to go again and do a redo, maybe when they're a little older, because it does. Like right before the last trip before the shutdown, before COVID, Boston could ride. He was 40 inches.
Oh, yeah.
So not everything, but he could ride most rides.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it shut down. Then we had another baby and we're back with the rider swap. And even though having a baby there, like honestly, I'd rather take an infant than a toddler.
Oh, for sure.
100%. Any day I will take an infant over a toddler. Newborn is tough. I've done that. Well, not a newborn. I guess he was 2 months. So I don't know what you consider that as an infant. It was a little tough just because I was so tired. But I've taken little babies, and I would take a little baby 100 times over taking a toddler. But when they are older and they can ride everything, even if they don't want to, just when you're out of the toddler phase, it can be really fun again, you know? So like, I'm excited for her to be out of this toddler phase, but like 4 and 5, when she starts to get really into princesses.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if she is.
Yeah.
I think she will be, because she already kind of is, but, she already likes shiny, sparkly things, but you know, and meeting the character, like I'm excited for that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm rambling. It was just.
It was a trip. It felt good to be home.
It did, which we've done it before. We've had this before where we're like, oh my gosh, it's nice to be home. I reminded you today when we were leaving, I was like, remember when Jack and Noah were little and every time we came, we left with 2 screaming kids. They'd cry when because Jack had a hard time leaving places.
Yes.
He would throw a fit when we left Target. Yeah. He'd throw a fit when we left Vaughn's, when we left Costco. Like it didn't matter where we were. Which is so funny. Think about him now. He likes to be out. He likes to be going somewhere. He doesn't want to be home.
Yeah.
And he hated leaving places. And so leaving Disneyland, he would throw a fit. He'd cry all the way to the car. Then Noah would start crying because Jack was crying, and they would cry until they fell asleep on the drive. And that was several times.
Yeah.
You know,
several years.
We just kind of forget about it because they don't do it anymore. But yeah, so we've had the bad trips before. It's never easy. It's like always a little disappointing. It's been a little while. It's been a while since we've had one that was this disappointing. And I don't want to say disappointing. It was disappointing, but I was like, I'm not really upset about it. I was just like, I'm more upset just honestly about the sickness. I'm not really upset about like this trip being ruined, because I know we're taking the boys in July, and that's probably going to be pretty fun because we'll have their cousin with us and they'll all have fun, and Georgia's not even going to know. Like, it's more, I'm
yeah, it was a culmination of everything with all the sickness the last few months, and then just the perfect storm of just getting pink eye at Disneyland.
Oh my gosh. I was just like, are you like, how is it? I
have the image in my head when I'm like talking to you, but like, what do you think about this sweatshirt? And I look over and you just have this look of dread on your face. And like, oh my gosh, you got a text message. Somebody died again. And it's like, oh no, Georgia has pink eye. It's close.
I react the same way, apparently, when I have a family member die or when my daughter has pink eye.
No, because I looked at you and I looked at her and I saw her eyes. I was like, oh, crap.
It was just defeating. I just felt like, oh my gosh. Like, so this was a bummer episode, and I apologize. I hope you had some laughs along the way.
But I think it's important to show that, not all of our trips, like you said, are not winners.
This one wasn't a winner.
And, not every time's going to be, if you're able to go multiple times, not every time's going to be, Instagram, perfect trip.
Which we had fun times, like
Yeah.
her with her bubbles. She loves, and she's super cute. She's seriously like, she goes in between being like the cutest thing, and she like has her eyes closed, and she's dancing with her eyes closed and like being all cute, and then to
Screaming
little,
bloody murder.
little devil. But
Yeah.
and I think like the boys that night, like last night with you, getting to do all those rides and
Yeah.
without her, like they had fun doing that. And
Speaking of the boys, I want to give them a shout out because they handled this really well.
they did.
There was a few little remarks that they made that
about their sister.
that upset me a little bit, that I may have said a few things to them that I later apologized for. But for the most part, like when she's screaming in the car, like
they're used to it.
they're used to it,
Yeah.
but they handled it well.
Yeah.
And they did a great job despite.
They did. And I talked to them about like, hey, like she's not, I know it's really hard. Trust me. Like it's really hard to stay patient. She doesn't have the skills yet. And she also doesn't feel good. Like she's not doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard because you guys are older than her. Like I talked to them and they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, July's going to be really fun. Like
Yeah.
we're going to, which we shouldn't have too high of expectations because it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. They did do well, and they, for the most part, handle her really well. Which, yeah.
Anyways, we should probably wrap this up.
So tired. Oh my
This
gosh.
is a long episode.
It's late.
This is a long episode. So we don't have a lot to share on Instagram. Yes, I mean, if you follow us on stories, we only did like a couple of things.
I did like 2 stories.
I did one. I posted one picture, which was at the pool with my
Like,
beer.
what am I going to show? Like my toddler screaming? Like, I guess.
And so yeah, I mean, I took some video, and so maybe we'll do some stuff, but
Yeah.
not a whole lot to share. We didn't really do anything new.
No,
To try
wanted to. I didn't even like. Yesterday, I went on like. Oh no! In California Adventure, I didn't even go on a ride.
Yeah,
I didn't
we
ride
weren't
anything.
there for very long. We were there for maybe a couple hours.
It was weird. It was so weird. Yeah, I rode like the carousel, the teacups, and like Hyperspace Mountain, Small
Yeah.
World. That's all I
Yeah.
rode the entire trip.
Yeah.
I think, but you win some, you lose some.
So follow us on Instagram, not to see highlights from this trip because there are none.
There were no highlights of this
There's no
trip.
highlight of this trip. Follow us on Instagram at dreamy.of.disney.podcast.
We'll bring it up in the mood. We'll be happier next week.
Yeah.
Unless someone
working-
gets sick again this week, in which case you won't be hearing from me.
It'll be a solo episode. Going on the solo
Because I will have
episode.
left.
Adriana, check out.
I'm out here.
No longer dealing with this. But hoping to get some guests on soon. But anyways, we hope you enjoyed this recap like we did.
If nothing else, just to laugh at our sorry selves.
I laughed at it just thinking
did.
about it. It's like, all right. Well, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.